What's up, guys, and welcome on back to my channel. As always, I appreciate all of my returning subscribers and joining me on another video. Today's video, as you can see from the title and from the page, we will be working with my sinking funds. Also, a few people were interested in seeing how I exchange my bills, so I also decided to show how I do that within this video. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, just keep on watching. Alright guys, so we have completed yet another month. March is done and I am ready to head into April. But before I do, of course, I have to close out my sinking funds and document that. If you are new here, this channel focuses on my finances and me gaining control of that. I am on the road to financial freedom with me learning to budget and using the cash envelope system and eliminating my debt with the debt snowball method. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, if you want to learn or if you want some motivation, go ahead, click that subscribe button and join the family. I would really appreciate that. And also do not forget to click the bell so that you never miss a video. Also, before I get started, I feel like I always have to mention that if you enjoy any of the sheets that I am using, I do make these myself. And if you are interested in using them and implementing them within your budget, I do have an Etsy shop where the link is down below and you can digitally download all of these sheets and get started with your budget right at home. So with my sinking funds, I always like to close them out and it just shows me how I started the month and how I ended the month. And I like to keep transactions and logs about all of the funds just so I can look back and see, what I did. Alright, so the first thing that I always do to get started with these sinking funds is, of course, list all of my funds and their starting balances. And where I get that information is I look back at the month before. So this is my sinking fund sheet from February. So I'm going to write the funds and then their ending balances will be my starting balances. Another thing that I'm going to add for a fund is my savings. I was not keeping track of it, but I feel like I should now start documenting it. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that also as a fund. And I'm going to write that down, total them up, and then I'll bring you guys right on back. Alright, so as we can see, these are my funds. At the beginning of the month for March, I had a starting balance of apartment with $1,550. Annual pay had $70. Car maintenance had $265. Christmas had $140. Gifts had $52. Medical had $194. Vacation had $420. Taxes had $3,009. And my savings had $662. So that gave me a grand total of $6,362 that I had within my sinking funds at the start of March. So the next thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is now list my funds and any transactions related to them. So if I added money, I will put it here and document it here. And if I took it out, I will put it here and document it down here as well, so that then we can get our end balance and ensure that this amount that I am showing on paper is what I actually have within my envelopes. Now, since I'm going to also be implementing me exchanging my bills, as I am putting the end balances in them, I will exchange them to condense them so that the envelopes are no longer as thick. And the way I do that is at the end of the month, I know I'm always going to deposit my debt snowball, which is currently my Great Lakes, and my taxes. So those two envelopes at the end of the day are always going to go to the bank. So I don't mind if those envelopes have smaller bills. So since generally those two envelopes hold my hundreds and my 50s, I like to exchange those bills with the envelopes that I'm going to keep in the house. So what I should be able to use today is all of the money within my Great Lakes. So this is my student loans envelope that I will be depositing into the bank. And if you did catch my last video for my final cash envelope for the month of March, we did see that I had a total of $1,643 that I was going to make as a debt snowball payment. So at the end of the day, once I'm done exchanging all of my bills, I should have this much amount of money within the envelope. So what I do, I just go ahead and take out this money. And since I'm using this cash to really condense my envelopes, I really only use the big bills. So I will be taking out the hundreds, the 50s, the 20s, and the 10s. And I will be using that as exchange money for the sinking funds that I hold within my binder. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get the setup going, because since this is my first time doing it, I'm not really sure how it's gonna go, but I'm gonna set us up and then I'll bring you guys right on back. Alright, I think this is as best as a setup as I am going to get. So once again, over here is the cash that I took out for my Great Lakes, and I will be using this cash for exchange. And then over here are the envelopes that we will be trying to condense. So let's go ahead and get started with my first sinking fund and documenting that transaction. So first up, we see we have apartment, and a lot of things have happened this month in terms of my sinking funds, so I feel like we might have a lot to document here, so just bear with me, guys. So the first fund that I'm going to talk about again is my apartment, so I will write apartment here. And I first like to always add any money that I added towards my envelope. So first, from my full-time income within paycheck number 1, I did add $150 to my apartment sinking fund. I know when I sat with you guys, I added $140, but I did go back and add an extra $10, so ultimately it came to $150 that I added. Then I'm going to write apartment again and document all of the money that I added from my stimulus. So I'll write stimulus, from my tax return, and then I also added money from my 2020 taxes that I had set aside. And all of this you saw me do within my stimulus/tax return video, so I will go ahead and link that up in the corner if you also want to watch that. So we saw that I did end up adding a total of $3,300 towards my apartment. So since I did not take anything out, these are the only two things that I will have to document. And then to signify all of the money that I added within my apartment, I'm going to add this $150 plus this $3,300. So then that gives me a total of $3,450 that I added to my apartment sinking fund this month. And since I did not take anything out, I will go ahead and write a 0. So if we add the $1,550 that we started with, plus the $3,450 that we added, I should have an ending balance of $5,000 within my apartment. And that is correct, because as we saw, that is what I should have as an end result. And I do have 1,000 placeholders because I did not feel comfortable with keeping that much amount of money within my house. Normally, if I hit about $1,000, I'm going to deposit it. But I do have the placeholders in place so that we know I have $5,000. So apartment is looking good and there's nothing else for us to do. So I'm just going to add that into the envelope and then set it to the side. All right, so that's generally the process of what I'm going to do. So hopefully you guys understood that. And next I'm going to move on to my next fund, which is annual payments. Annual payments is what I'm going to write for the fund. And I always start off with money that I added. So from my side income for the entire month of March, I was able to bring in $60 towards my annual pay. And then as I mentioned to you guys, I was going to take the money out, and that is because I finally got Amazon Prime and I did pay for the subscription for the year. So that was $130 that I did take out. So if we go up here, I added 60 I took out $130. So now let's see what my end balance should be. So we started with 70 plus the 60 minus the 130. So that leaves me with a balance of 0. And that is correct because my annual payments envelope is empty. So that is that for that. And next up we move to car maintenance. So car maintenance, I did add money from my side income. So that is what I will write down here. And for the month, I was able to bring in $130. But then I also did take money out of this envelope throughout the month. So at the beginning of the month, I told you guys I went and got a car wash. So I'm going to write car wash, and that ended up being $20. And then, as we recently heard within my video, I did have to get my engine repaired because my check engine light came on. So I did get that fixed and she is doing better. But that did end up costing me $325. So if we go ahead and document that up here, we added $130 for my car maintenance. And if we do $325 plus the $20, that gives me a grand total of $345 that came out of car maintenance. So if we started with $265 plus the $130 minus $345, that leaves me with $50. So I would just go over here. I have my car maintenance and we see that I have the $50 left. So that's good. Nothing too condensed there. I'll just leave that $50 in there and try to build that up. Next, we're moving on to Christmas. So I'm gonna go down here and write Christmas for the fund. And all I did was add money for this envelope. So I'm going to write side income. And for the month, Christmas got $100. So if we go up here and add my 100, I did not take anything out. I should be left with a balance of $240 within my Christmas envelope. So if we go over here and grab my Christmas envelope, let's make sure that I have $240. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 200, 20, and 40. So here we see I have a lot of 20s, so I am going to condense them to replace them for hundreds. So I can replace this for $200. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm just going to place the 200 over here and then take out $200 bills. And then we see I have 100, 200, 20, and 40. So there we go. And I'll put that right back in the envelope. And that's that. After Christmas, we do have gifts. So I will write gifts here. And I did add money as well for this envelope. So for side income for the month within gifts, I added $50. But then, as I have been mentioning, my cousin's birthday is coming up at the beginning of April. So I did get her something. So for gifts, I'm going to write cousin B-Day. And I did take out $40 to get her something. So if we add 50 over here and we took out 40, let's see what we should have as a total. So 52 plus 50 minus 40, that should leave me with $62 within the envelope. So if we go over here and grab my gifts, I have 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 61, and 62. So for my gifts, I like to keep it with 20s. I really don't like the big bills within my gifts just because I like to, go to the store and buy a few things. So I'm just going to exchange these 4 10s for 2 20s. So I'll put that here, grab 2 20s, and now I should have $62. So 2, 4, 6, 61, and 62. So there we go. And gifts is ready to go. All right, so moving right along, next up is medical. So I will write medical as the fund. And all I did for this envelope was add money. So from my side income for the month, medical received $25. So I will go ahead, write 25 up here. I took nothing out. So 194 plus the 25 gives me a total of $219 that I should have within medical. So looking at medical, let's verify if that is true. That's 50, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 95, 200, 205, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So I do have $219 within this envelope, and I will condense this. I will keep the 50s, but I will exchange one of these hundreds for a $100 bill. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 95, 100. So this makes $100. So I'm going to add that down here and then give myself $100. So that is that. And then for these 5s, I can exchange them for a 10. So I'll put that 5 here and then add myself a 10. So now we should again have $219. So that's 100, 200, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So there we go. $219 within my medical, and that is set. So after medical, we have good old vacation. So I'm going to write vacation. And again, this is an envelope where I did not take money out. I was just able to save. And for vacation for the month, I brought in $80. So if we go over here, we added 80, took nothing out. 420 plus 80 means that I should have $500 within my vacation envelope. So let's make sure that is true. Within vacation, I have 100, 200, 300, 400, 420, 40, 60, 80, 90, 95, and 500. So that is true, $500. And I'm going to exchange this 100 for the 250s. So that will make 100. And then this should also be 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 95, 100. So I will also add this down here and give myself a $100 bill. So now we see I have $500. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. And I will go ahead and put that right within vacation. Up next is my taxes envelope. So I will write taxes, and for the month I did bring in some money for that, and across all of my side incomes I brought in $744 for my taxes. But also within my taxes, as I noted for my apartment, I did do a transfer, so I'm just going to say transferred to apartment, because as we know, my 2020 taxes that I was saving, I did put that towards my apartment, and that was for $1,700. So physically within my taxes envelope, I should have this 744. So I'm going to write 744 here. But this transfer of 1,700, I don't actually have. Like I said, I just did it over my phone, but I did take out that money, so I do have to document that so that then our taxes will show its true end balance. So if I started with 3009, I added 744 and I took away 1,700. That means my taxes are now at a total of $2,053. So with my taxes, I'm not going to try and condense it because, as I said, I'm just going to deposit this right into the bank, but I do want to make sure I have 744. So let's go ahead and count this up. So that is 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 20, 40, 60, 80, 600, 20, 40, 60, 80, $700, and then I should have $44. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42, 43, and 44. So that is true. $744 is within taxes. I'll go ahead and put this right back in here so I can take that to the bank. All right, so lastly is my savings. So for my savings, it is for my $3,000 challenge. So that's what I'm going to write. And I did bring this in from my side income. So for the month, as we know, I had a goal of $200. I did make that, so I added 200. So I'm going to write 200 here. I did not take anything out. So now I have 662 plus 200. That is a total of $862 that I should have within my taxes. I'm sorry, within my savings. So if we go over here and grab my savings envelope, let's make sure that I do have the 862. So that is 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 750. I want to make this a 50 so I do not confuse myself. So that's 50, 70, 90, 95, 100. All right, so that is 800. And then I should have $62 left. So 20, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 61, and 62. All right, so that is correct. So when it comes to my savings, I do want to condense it so that then I just have hundreds. So these 400s are already good. So now let me go ahead and try and change these 50s for hundreds. So that's 100, that's 200, that's 300, and then I have 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 95, 100. So that is also 100. So that's $1, 2, 3, $400 that I can exchange. So I'm gonna grab 1, 2, 3, and 4, add that over there, and then place all of this to the side. All right, and then down here was 62, so I can exchange this for a 50. So that's 20, 40, 45, and 50. So I will put this here and grab a 50. And then I also have 2 5s, so I can go ahead and give myself a 10. All right, so I should again have a total of $862. So 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 850, 60, 61, and 62. So look at that. Look how nice and thin that is, so that then my envelope can get a little break. So that is 862 within my savings. All right, so since all of my sinking funds have been accounted for, I am going to go over here now and put all of the cash together within my Great Lakes. And as we said, we should now have again a balance of $1,643 at the end of all of this. So let's go ahead and add everybody together. And let us count to ensure that we did everything correctly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is our 1,000. So that's $1,000 right here. So now we're going to count $600. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. 20, 40, 60, 80, 200. 20, 40, 60, 80, 300. 20, 40, 60, 80, 400. 20, 40, 60, 80, 500. And then 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. So this should be 600. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. And then lastly, we should have $43 within these. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 41, 42, and 43. So that is correct. We have our $1,643 still within our Great Lakes. So I'm going to go ahead, put this all together, and then deposit this within the bank. So this is a process. I always want to make sure that I do it correctly because one wrong move and your balances can be off. But that is just why I like to do it once a month so it's not too much on me. And my envelopes do not have to be so thick. All right, so as a final wrap up for the video, we have to go ahead and total up all of our balances within my sinking funds so that we can see for a grand total for the month of March how much I was able to save. All right, so we see that I have a total of $8,986 within my sinking funds. That is such a great improvement. If we subtract the total that we have now from where we started at the beginning of the month, so $63.62, that is a difference of $2,624 that I managed to save as additional funds for my sinking funds. So I really enjoy my sinking funds. I really enjoy the process. It's very helpful, again, to help me stay on budget. And I really hope you guys understood, followed along, and that you also understood my bill exchange process. But as always, guys, that's all I have for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to go down below within the comments and let me know what you thought. Also, let me know how the month wrapped up for you guys, just so that we can keep in touch and support each other on this journey. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to join the family if you are enjoying what I do. And do not forget to give a big thumbs up for the video because that really supports the channel. But for now, guys, that's all I have. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and I will see you all next time in my next video. Bye, guys.